You know how we watch those videos that feel good and are kind of interesting, but they don't really matter, and then they end up going viral? Well, after watching this video, you might find that it feels good, is genuinely compelling, not just kind of interesting, and actually matters. Plus, it's very likely that you'll discover that it is worth you sharing it and being part of it going viral. Hi, I'm Gabby, and let me congratulate you for being here. You know, when I was 9, less than 20 days before my 10th birthday, my whole life changed. One day what I was dealing with wasn't there, then suddenly it was. And it didn't stay at the hospital, it came home with me. I went from being what I thought was a normal kid to being the kid who has to eat differently, take medicine every time I eat, and have everyone adjust around me. Many days, I was angry, frustrated, in denial, and honestly, I just did not want to deal with any of it anymore. I remember thinking it would have been better if I had just died in the hospital. There was even a kid in the room next to me who didn't make it. On the one hand, I thought, why did he get to stop suffering and I had to live on? But on the other hand, I felt guilty for surviving. I felt like my diagnosis was my identity. You know, I wish I could tell you I handled it well, but I didn't. I isolated myself, even with people around me. I held everything in. From the outside, I looked like the girl who was always smiling, encouraging everyone else, and doing fine. But on the inside, I didn't want to be here anymore. And I made attempts to take my life. Thankfully, those attempts were unsuccessful. And over time, something changed. I realized I was not walking through this thing alone. My parents, my sister, my community, and something else that was put in my life started speaking a different story over me. My dad began speaking the 5 greatness sayings over me again and again. You are loved. You're unique. You are valuable. You were created for greatness and great things, and you were created to live a life of contribution. At first, I didn't feel any of that. I didn't want to say or believe those words. But those words kept coming from outside of me until they finally started getting inside of me. I began to see that my diagnosis is something I manage. It isn't my identity. Those words eventually turned into a story called Lion, Lion, Roar, Roar. In that story, the lion forgets who he is. He stops roaring. And the animals in the best jungle keep calling out to him, Lion, lion, roar, roar. They remind him of his worth, his place, and his contribution. That is what the 5 greatness sayings and Lion, lion, roar, roar became for me. There were people in my jungle calling out to me when I wanted to disappear. They were reminding me, I am loved, I am unique, I am valuable, and I still have something to give. And now, years later, thankfully, I'm still here. Not just surviving, but helping lead an effort so other kids and their families walking through medical storms like I did can reclaim their identity and their value too. And that effort is called the Do-Gooder Challenge. Here's what I've learned. When a kid and their family are navigating a medical challenge, their world gets shaken and disturbed in every single direction. Their body, their schedule, their money, their friendships, their emotions, and their sense of who they are. Even if they are surrounded by people who love them, without the right words and encouragement, they can still feel completely alone, like I did. Isolated, depressed, anxious, confused about who they are and whether their life is worth living. Here's something my dad and I talked about that I really do believe. If we are not intentionally encouraging, we are by default discouraging. When there is a gap that can be filled with encouragement and we leave it empty, discouragement grows in that space and we help make it grow. That is why encouragers are not just kind people. They are needed. They are lifesavers. Sometimes they are even part of a support team that a patient may never meet in person. The Do-Gooder Challenge is a way for you to step into that role. In the story of Lion, Lion, Roar, Roar, the animals in the best jungle call out to the lion for him to roar. In real life, do-gooders are like those animals. You are the ones who look at kids and their families walking through medical storms and say, with your actions and your words, you are loved, you are unique, you are valuable, you were created for greatness and great things, and you were created to live a life of contribution. Ultimately, you say you were made to roar. Through the Do-Gooder Challenge, your encouragement becomes more than a feeling. It becomes something tangible, something real, an encouragement package that delivers Line, Line, Roar, Roar, the 5 greatness sayings personalized by you, and other resources to kids and their families to help them better navigate their medical challenges. You become part of their support team from a distance. You become someone who quietly but powerfully helps them choose life, hope, and identity in the middle of their storm. I know what it feels like to want to check out of life, but I also know what it feels like to discover that there are people, even people you might never meet, who are rooting for you and calling you to stay checked in. Some of you watching this will wish you never clicked on this video. You might be too busy, you might think it isn't your problem, you might even share videos that don't really help anybody and ignore sharing this one. And that's your choice. Around here, we call that a don't care. But some of you feel something different right now. You know you are supposed to be part of this. You are one of those we call a do-gooder. Do-gooders know that their words and actions matter. They know that even a stranger-level act of kindness can be the difference between a kid feeling invisible or knowing the world needs me, my life matters, and it's worth it to keep going. So here's your challenge. It has 3 steps. Step 1. If something inside you is already screaming, I'm a do-gooder, put I'm a do-gooder in the comments below. Go ahead and pause this video if you need to and type I'm a do-gooder and then come back for the next step. After you have commented I'm a do-gooder, here's step 2. Share this video with 5 people. Make it go viral. Pause again if you like, send it to 5 people who you think are also do-gooders, and then come back for your last step. For your last step, seal the deal in your do-gooder identity. In the comments and in the description, there is a link to the Do-Gooder Challenge. Click it, and then step into the life of a kid and their family as a lifesaver, in the same way that encouragers were lifesavers for me. One last thing before I go. I don't care will be uncomfortable here, and that's alright. But if you know you are a do-gooder, this is your moment. Act on the 3 steps I just challenged you to take. Rewind if you need to, and be part of calling some lions back to their roar together.